Alright guys, morning. It's Wednesday morning, and we're going to get back on finishing up this cab corner here. And this would be the right rear door pillar on the extended cab, super cab Ford 99 to 07 body style, Super Duty. I'm going to do a couple of welds in here because I've sectioned this panel. And on the back side of all of these, I have, well, you can see there's some splatter out here from where I did some welds yesterday and put weld through primer that's on the back side of this panel where it goes behind here. Also got it behind here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of welds here, and then I'm going to finish getting this all welded in. There is structural foam up in here, but I'm about, I would say, a good 2 inches away from it. And I've got a fire extinguisher sitting on the floor. Also the blowgun. Usually it burns slow. You just got to watch and take your time welding these areas, let it cool. That way you don't build up enough heat to set that foam on fire. Plus, since the cab corner's off, I'll be able to hopefully, with any luck, see it if I start a fire. So we're going to go ahead and turn the welder on and see if I got it set right here. We're going to do a couple tests. It seems to be right. I might want to tinge more wire speed. Not much. Depending on what kind of gap you have here will dictate how much wire speed you're going to need. Also, if this gap, if you didn't get it close enough, I may have to put a piece of steel behind this and cover it with weld through primer and pull it up in that gap. It's not terrible, but also stack your welds after they've cooled. So weld on a weld when you can, when you're trying to fill a gap. And I've also got a body hammer here to sort of tap this down to me, and I've also got a screwdriver laying on the floor here somewhere to pull these two pieces of steel, the existing and the new, closer together. I'm still trimming my wire every time, because if you get a little ball on there, it won't start as fast. Now this machine is the Miller 180 auto set, and it's made to have a soft start so it doesn't have a real hard arc, which makes it nice for this kind of welding. I don't know why I blow on them. I guess it's force of habit. I don't cool my welds with a blowgun. This heavy of steel, your chances of warping are pretty narrow, and also you're not ever going to see it once you put body filler over it. Now, an outside thin gauge steel panel, like 20 gauge steel, definitely watch your heat and don't get in a hurry. This I can go a little quicker on because it's thicker sheet metal. Somewhere in my box here, I have a wire brush somewhere. So if you get a little weld, I don't know what you want to call it, schmag, you can also use a rotary wire brush on it. But just to clean that contamination off, you might get some contamination from the back side that pops through, things like that. to do a couple more of these welds. I'll show you what I'm doing, and it's basically going to be, you know, just repeating over and over and over this process. I've got a pretty good gap out here, so we'll see how that all plays out. Also, make sure your panel's clamped up nice and tight. Sometimes you'll have to use different kinds of clamps. I've got a pair of vice grips for inside here because there's not a lot of room. Definitely want a nice tight fit. Yeah, I'll do a couple more here. Basically, by laying these welds on top of one another after jumping back and forth and not continuing on the same line of tack welds, when you weld right next to or on top of a weld you've done and let cool, it will absorb some of that heat so that you don't blow through. Just a little helpful tip for you there. One more, and then I'm going to turn you guys off and bring you back once I have this seamed in. And then maybe we'll do a demo of the panel spotter and do some resistant spot welds on the bottom of this guy down here and then up here. Alright, that's where I'm going to shut you guys down for now. I'll show you what I got going here. And then I really need a quick release for this camera. This is getting old. That's what you got right there. That white smoke, looks like it's coming up, is from that weld-through primer on the back side. It sort of smokes out. But that's what we're doing, and then I'll start connecting these tacks, and then we'll grind them all down with that 4-inch angle grinder there. So that's it for now. That's already 8 minutes worth, so we'll bring you back. Alright guys, there you go. You can see that I played connect the dots here all the way down. I'm going to take that 4-inch angle grinder and work on dressing those welds down and see what I got. And see that line right there, that's your penetration line. So we look good all the way down. Now it's very possible that once you grind these down you might find some pinholes that you can go back and touch up later after you're done grinding, and then dress those back down. But I wanted to bring up a point here. I had a real wide gap out at this end. You notice the way that this rear door panel, post panel, whatever the hell they call it, comes to here. It doesn't make it all the way out to the end. I took a piece of copper pipe and beat it flat and used it as a backer to absorb heat as I was coming out to this edge. And that's a little tip. Or you can have a chunk of copper, you know, thick as you want it, thicker the better. But when you're trying to get into tight areas like back into here, you can put that piece of copper behind there, and it's narrow enough to fit. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to take that, where is it, 4-inch angle grinder, and another tool that I use. Let me dig it out of the box here if I can figure out what the hell I did with it. Maybe I have to stand up off my stool. Here it is. Use your cutoff wheel like this and steady your hand the best you can and grind sideways on them. You can get down into those little bitchy areas like that, and maybe like right in there, that little line, to get that as close as you can. Don't over grind your welds. If you grind too much on those welds, then you'll start to really thin that metal down, but grind them as flush as you want to, and then you can put your fiberglass filler over that. So I'll go ahead and grind those down. I'm not going to show me grinding those welds because it's going to take probably half an hour for me to get that straightened out, so I will bring you back in a bit. Alright guys, I dressed these welds down as much as... Ooh, focus-a-mocus. That's what happened. So those are dressed down as much as I need to dress them down. You can see that our contour here is nice. Our little line there that I just wiped the dust off of matches up here. So that's as good as that needs to be. I dressed down those plug welds. And now we're going to use this machine right here. And I'll move this out of the way. This is an old girl. This is a Lenco panel spotter. I got this back in the spring, kind of a buddy deal sort of thing. Did a little horse trading for it. And it's got a little dial on here, and it says set the dial up or down to adjust for incoming line voltage. But it also seems like it increases the duty cycle, or not duty cycle, but the cycle of the spot weld. It's got its own internal timer. And we're going to put some resistant spot welds on the bottom of this, and on the top of it eventually here. I'm going to have to grind that off, but we'll show you doing a couple of those. So I'll be back momentarily. Alright guys, I got you set up, and show you how this works. Now factory spot welds, I believe in this panel were this spot welds to here. I believe there was only one here and one here. But we're gonna, because when you use this spot welder, it makes 2 spot welds every time. We're gonna go here, here, and then boom, boom, right next to each other. I've got this clamped tight. I wish I had some of those spot weld pliers or plug weld pliers that span that, but that should be plenty tight. Weld through primer on the back sides of that. So we're going to go ahead and see how this pans out. Now we don't want to hit either of these clamps when we do this. And this timer will time itself. I could have drilled holes and plug welded like I did the other ones, but we're going to go with this. And now I'll put 2 more right there. I should probably, let's see, I'm going to move this clamp to this in-between area. Sure that we're touching nice. Boy, that's a little tight. Back that off a little. Should be able to get it. It's going to be close, but I'm going to move this clamp too. I want that as tight as I can get it. I want those panels touching. If they're not touching, it will not weld properly. Push hard and pull. There we go. Now that one may not have been touching the panel properly. So we'll go ahead and I think I'll put 2 more in it just to be safe, and I'll bring you guys back. when we're all done doing the spot welds. But that's how you do it. You've got this set of electrodes here, and that's what I was holding up against it, and then there's a button right there, and you pull that and the timer will shut it down when it's done welding. So that's it on how to spot weld.